Buongiorno tutti. Hello to everyone. Today we are having another one of our wonderful Monday coffee chats, and I love getting onto the Zoom, even if my friends don't love it. I love to get them on and put them on the spot to talk with me about our favorite destinations. And this week we wanted to talk about Sicily because Sicily, as you probably know, is a destination that I know extremely well. I wrote the Rick Steves guidebook to it, and I spent about a decade down there, so I know pretty well. Not as well as my guest today, though, who is a Palermo native. Hello to my friend Domenico Aronica. Buongiorno. Oh, no, buonasera.
Buonasera. Good evening. I'm already going to sleep already. Almost.
Domenico was just trying to talk me into doing this interview in Italian, which we could, except for that you out there wouldn't know what we were saying. So sorry, but he speaks perfectly good English.
A lot of Americans are Sicilians Americans. They speak strange dialect, the great grandfather dialect. Maybe they understand some Sicilian words.
It's true. I find that very true when we have Sicilian Americans on our tours, because a lot of times they'll try to speak Italian to me, and I don't really understand what they're saying, but it's because they're speaking something like Shakespeare to me, something like an older version of my language, right?
Latin, like old language, all the Sicilian words, strange, very very funny. I met many Sicilian Americans people. I call them the Sopranos. I mean, they look like Martin Scorsese movie characters. The same. Very fun, very fun.
Well, it's funny. Do you ever see that show White Lotus, the one that was in Taormina?
Taormina, filmed in Taormina, Cefalù, Palermo.
Yeah.
Yes. So many Americans they come to Sicily because they watch the White Lotus in the US. It's a very famous.
I have a very strange idea then about Sicily, but my favorite scene of that series is the part where the dad or the grandfather brings his son and grandson to go see their relatives, and their relatives come out with a shotgun.
They say, "What are you?"
What? Who is this guy? What does he want? And they end up getting chased away. And I often think, I would have to guess that probably happens sometimes, because a lot of people who have Sicilian heritage want to show up in the hometown or the home that their grandparents were from. And the people living there are like, I don't know you. Have you ever had that experience when you've taken guests around Sicily?
Yeah, a lot of your customers, a lot of my customers, they come to Sicily because they want to find their, genealogy, their relatives. Once I went to a village close to Palermo, like 1 hour far from Palermo, which is called Valle d'Olmo, with some Americans. We had a meeting with the mayor. We found relatives, uncle, great grandfather, graves. So it was very very funny. I mean, a lot of them, they come to Sicily to meet and to find their genealogy. I mean.
So if a person was coming to find their relatives, because there are so many people I'm sure out there watching who are looking for that, you as a guide, you can kind of help them, right? You could take them at least maybe to the town hall, or take them to see if there's any records.
Yes, if they are the relatives, they are born in Palermo city, we can go and look for some documents in the city hall archive, which is an amazing place. You probably we went together,
yes,
where there are like 6,000 square meters of documents. It's incredible. Looks like Harry Potter movies. And you can find some documents if the people, the relatives, they were born in Palermo city. If they born in another town or village, you have to go to the city hall of the village. I mean, so I help many people to find some documents here in Palermo.
And you can do outside of Palermo as well too. If people hire you, you can also take them to, if they live in the Palermo province, you can also take them out there, right?
Yes, if it's a pleasure for me. It's I'm also always happy to help people finding their ancestor. Okay.
Have you ever had anybody who actually met a relative that you helped find?
No. We just found documents, and we went to this village where we met the mayor. So we never found relatives.
Yeah, well, and a lot of times people, they want the documentation because if you have a grandparent who was born in Sicily, then you actually can get an Italian passport. So that's why a lot of people are looking for those documents.
My grandfather. So many Sicilians, they emigrate at the end of the 1800s, at the beginning of 1900. So,
Wow, that's amazing. Because I have an Irish passport because my dad is from there, and I think it only goes to grandfather in Ireland. So in Italy, you can get an Italian passport if a great grandfather was born in Italy.
Yes.
Wow.
I have some friends from California. They got the passport because their great grandfather was born here in Sicily. So they have a double passport, Italian and American.
Wow. I better look through all of my family records. Although I'm already here.
This last election in America, I think a lot of Americans, they want to move in Italy.
I wouldn't be surprised if some people were looking into that now. Yeah. So, well, that's okay. Hopefully travel is going to continue as normal for us.
The political argument in this conversation.
Yeah, I'm kind of neutral in politics. I always skip them because I think travel is something we all can agree on. It's the one thing all of us can agree on. So we want to keep it as welcoming as we can. So, so tell me about Palermo right now. What's going on in Palermo? And I'll just say, when I first met you, you had been guiding about 10 years? So you've been guiding quite a long time now.
12 years.
12 years now. So you've seen a lot of things
in just Palermo. You know how I call my job, you remember?
Yeah, I do remember.
The groundhog day. But I try to do different itinerary, I always try to do different stuff itinerary, which is funny. But it's funny to meet new people.
Well, and I always love what Domenico does. So the reason we work with Domenico on my tours, I think it's got an incoming kid or something. We do hit tours with Domenico because he does a nice hybrid between a historical guided tour, but then it's also kind of a food tour. So we stop. I mean, that's so Sicilian, right? I always say that in Sicily, food is love. So I love that you include some love on your tour, right?
Yeah. And also I include arts, architecture, because my education, actually, I was a photographer, so I love architecture, art in general. So I don't like to do just a food tour, but I always like to do a combination of history and food together. Well, in Sicily, the food is love. I went 2 weeks ago in Naples, and I can tell, if I can tell you, that the food in Sicily is better than Naples. I don't know. Maybe someone will kill me in a few hours, but I can tell this. Also the street food, the arancina, the rice ball, the panellas, the pancake of chickpeas, flour, fried, etc., etc. The sfincione is really some of the best food that you can have all over the world. We are very humble in Sicily,
Always in Sicily, you have to remember, if people talk about something, it's the biggest, it's the best, it's the most famous, it's the first.
Everything is the best.
I think Sicilians invented everything, didn't they? They invented everything. I think it's possible.
To me, the arancina, the rice ball, is something very special. I also make it at home in December. when here in December in Palermo, December the 13th, we eat arancina all day in the morning for lunch, for dinner. It's great.
Why is that? What's December 13th?
December 13th is the day of Santa Lucia, Saint Lucy. Here in Sicily, we cannot eat flour, we cannot eat the bread or pasta, but we eat the rice all day. So we eat the rice ball, which is fried all day. Once I had 11 arancini in one day when I was younger. It was, when I had a good belly, a good stomach digestion. And now, I eat like 2 or 3 maximum. The situation in Palermo right now, Palermo is very quiet, very calm, no tourists. If you want to join us now, you don't see the tourist, jam that you see in the during the season, during the summer. This week is quite cold. It's raining almost every day, which is good because in Sicily last summer we had problems with the drought, the lack of water, especially in the middle of the island near Agrigento, Caltanissetta. It's quite cold, like maybe you in Seattle. No, it's cold now.
It is. And that's actually really surprising because a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to go on a vacation to Sicily in January and I'm going to bring my swimsuit. And it's like, no, you're not. You can bring a swimsuit. It's cold there. It's winter. And I don't think people realize that. I used to always bring my knee-high like wool boots with me when I'd go in January or February and nobody would believe me. Yeah, you need a coat and boots. It's cold.
But now in Sicily, you can go up to the Mount Etna, where there is a famous ski station. So you can ski around the volcano. It's incredible. It's an incredible experience that you can do now in Sicily. But Sicily is a big island.
I got there to do that. That would be really fun. Don't you have a ski area kind of close to Palermo too?
Yes, close to Palermo, just behind Cefalù. There is an area which is called Piano Battaglia. It's like 1 hour far from Palermo where you can ski. There is a ski station also there. There is a nice restaurant. We spend usually Sundays in going to Piano Battaglia, the people of the city, Palermo. It's a mess. It's like Palermo, but in the snow area. No rules. No rules.
That's the other thing I about you, Domenico, is you don't mince words. You always tell me exactly like the reality of Palermo, and I agree with you. Palermo is kind of a mess, but it's a beautiful mess, right?
Yeah, it's a beautiful mess. It's a beautiful city. It's a very historical city. It's like an open air museum, especially for you Americans, because you live in a very new modern country. So walking in Palermo, which is like now since the 2014 a pedestrian city center, it's really beautiful. It's a beautiful city, very flat, very understandable, easy to walk, safe. Even we are in a big city, so you have to be careful when you walk. There are also pickpockets, as always everywhere in the big cities in the world. But it's very enjoyable city, maybe very historical city.
Do we have a little co-host sitting next to you? I think there might be. Is there somebody sitting next to you?
Hello.
Hello. Do you also speak English?
Yes.
Wow, look at that.
You met Lorenzo, my son? Yes. Well, you remember? No,
yes,
we
I
met.
do.
Yeah,
I think he was teeny the last time I saw him. Good to see you.
So,
Bye.
Ciao. So is he going to be another tour guide?
yeah, I hope so. I want to go and be retired soon. So Lorenzo will.
You're just waiting for him to grow up and he'll just start leading the tours for you.
I want to go to Hawaii like you and do my retirement in some island. I don't know where.
Honestly, being in
Alone,
Hawaii.
alone, without my wife.
Oh no, you can't do that. That's not okay. I'm Domenico. I have always thought Hawaii reminds me of Sicily, actually. I mean, they're islands, but also culture-wise, I think there's a lot of similarities. So I always feel very comfortable in Hawaii because I feel a little bit like it's a little bit of Sicily, but in America.
Yes, but Sicily, I told you it's a big island, so we also have a great beach, great sun, 300 days of sun, culture, history. Cefalù, to me, is the best town in Sicily because it's a mixture of beach, sea, sun, history, cathedral, mountains. You can hike the mountains. It's the perfect combination. Cefalù, it's a small town close to Palermo.
Yeah, we go to that tour on our Sicily Pleasures tour. So that is part of what we do. And I love Cefalù. I think it's really a neat place. I also think that it's nice because it's so close to Palermo. So you go often for day trips there, don't you?
Yes, yes. If you come to Sicily in June, we go together in Cefalù.
Oh, that would be really
from a secret place of the town.
Oh, okay. So what is there anything new going on in Palermo these days? Are there any is the archaeological museum finally all the way open? What's going on?
Yesterday, Palermo is also a famous city for music. Yesterday, there was a great musician, which is called, maybe you know, Richard Galliano. It's a famous accordion. He plays tango, South American music. It was great. So right now there are many good concerts, and Palermo is a very famous city for jazz music. So there are many live music concerts, jazz, rock. So we have theater. We have the largest opera house of Italy, Teatro Massimo. Museums, archaeological museums. So right now, you not get bored here in Palermo for sure. There is always something to do.
Well, and in winter too. I mean, it's right now, but you guys get a lot of sun too, right?
Yeah, until last week there was a sunny week. For the New Year Eve, it was very sunny, very nice. This week is very cloudy and rainy, but it's okay. We are in January.
Yeah. So when you take people touring Palermo, what is your favorite thing to show a guest?
My favorite place, is the Church of Martorana. Martorana, where inside there is an incredible combination of Baroque, the paintings, and also the mosaics. The Byzantine mosaics. I used to go there almost every day. I never get bored. It's my favorite place in the city. Also, the market, the Ballarò, is very funny because I know everyone there. So everybody say hello to me. We talk each other. We make fun, jokes, etc., etc. We try good food also. The panellas, the pancakes of chickpeas, the arancini, wherever. Fresh juice. Now is the season here in Sicily for the pomegranates, which is very healthy, very good. Well, I suggest to come to Sicily and Palermo especially.
And the other thing that Domenico is very well known for is his jokes. So if you come to Palermo, you're going to hear all the dad jokes.
Another joke. Well, I told you, as my life.
What?
No, as my life is repeating and repeating, I have to make jokes because I want to have fun. I want to have fun with my customers. I want to smile and have a good time with my customers. Otherwise, this job would be very boring. Repeating. So I like to have fun. I like to meet new people, especially the Americans. My favorite customers, very funny people.
Well, I think that that's why I've always loved doing tours with you, because a lot of times people take the art and the history very seriously, which they should. But I think we laugh a lot when we do a tour together, don't we?
Yeah. Thank you.
And I think if you're not laughing in Sicily, you didn't visit Sicily. That's what I think.
No, no. In Sicily, well, it's could be the paradise and could be the hell. It's a strange combination of nice people and bad people together. Because Sicily is also the island of the mafia, the criminal organization. What happened in the 80s, in the 90s here in Palermo, when we had the mafia war. When I was the same age of my son Lorenzo, I saw 3 people killed here in Palermo. It's really awful, terrible. But in Sicily, it's also the island of the sun, of the nice people. So if you are lucky, you find the good people. If you are not lucky, you will find the bad people.
Okay, but like, to be fair, in all the years, this is like 15 years that I've been going to Sicily. I've never seen anything. I mean, for a tourist, that's not something you worry about, right?
Well, for tourists, I told you it's not a dangerous city, in my opinion. But you never know.
Thanks, Domenico.
That's life,
Yes, of course it's safe. He's joking. I think he's joking. Maybe he's not joking. Well, the one thing I do love about Palermo, and I would suggest if somebody's never been to Sicily before and you only have a few days, you could just do a whole trip in Palermo. Let's say you had 4 days. I mean, you can't see Sicily in 4 days. But if you did have 4 days, there'd be plenty to keep you busy in Palermo, don't you think?
Yeah, 4 days are the perfect, perfect days where you can visit the city, because the city actually it's a big city. It's the 5th largest city in Italy, so it's not a village. So you have plenty things to do in Palermo, because we have like 200 churches. 200. Have you ever seen 200 churches during my tour?
Yeah, I think so. I think we did do 200 churches.
In one day, 200 churches.
Okay, so that's the thing we have to do, Jim. Next time I come down there, you and I are going to try to see as many churches as we can in one day and find out what is the number. What is the most churches that you can see in one day in Palermo? Because I'm going to bet you could probably do 50, don't you think?
Yes, 50 churches you can see weekly.
Although they wouldn't all be open. So you have to kind of like, because you never know when things are going to be open in Sicily. So you'd have to map it really carefully to see if you could get in. But yeah, there are so many churches. And we also love going to the Gesù. That's also another one we think is kind of
the street. But I told you, from Palermo you can also do a day trip in Cefalù by train. You can go to Cefalù by train. In Palermo you can see the Royal Palace, the Norman Palace, the Opera House, the Cathedral, the Jesuits, the church, the Martorana, the convent, the nunnery of Santa Caterina. So, the market, the flea market on Sunday. I don't know. There are the archaeological museum. I don't know. There are so many places to see. Everything is very close. Everything is pedestrian. The city center is pedestrian, and the city is very flat. Even it's a big city center. I told you so. It's very, very fun and nice city, in my opinion.
Yeah, it really is. And I think
other cities in Italy which are very big and very, difficult to understand. If you go to Naples, before you understand the city, ok, sono tornato.
Yeah, talking about Naples. So I think that's why it froze. I think it froze because in Palermo you were talking nice things about Naples, and so the saint said, no, you cannot do that. No talking about Naples. You're talking about.
Sorry.
You have to talk about Palermo, so that's why it stopped. The
I
video
always
refuses to listen.
comparison with other cities in Italy. Well, Palermo is the best. Palermo is my city. It's the best.
But I think if somebody is going to visit Sicily for the first time, because I've had people ask me, okay, I only have 4 days and I want to see Sicily, and I always say you can't. I mean, there's no way you can see Sicily. What?
Yes,
So
many people, they think that Sicily is like Malta, small, but Sicily is an enormous island.
it's enormous. It's the largest in the Mediterranean, and for me to drive, let's say from Trapani, which is the far west, to Catania, the far east, I think that should be about 3.5 hours drive. So it's a huge. I've done it faster, but I drive like a Sicilian, so. You could, because
also because the highways in Sicily are not the best in the world, so it takes
well, that's kind of why I like talking about Palermo, because if you are going to go to Sicily, you really do need a car. I mean, it's so hard to get around by way of public transportation. However, if you're staying in Palermo, you can even easily stay a week. You can take the train to Agrigento, right? You can take the train to Trapani for a day, or the bus. So there's lots of options. If you just stay in Palermo for lots of little day trips, I think you could easily stay busy for a week, don't you think?
You can go also to Roma by train, you know?
Yeah, you can. Overnight. I mean, that's not a day trip, but I have done that. Have you ever done that? It's really fun.
Yeah, many times. When I was a teenager, I had a girlfriend in Rome, so I took the train very often. The train goes on a ferry. It's incredible. A ferry with trucks, and Palermo Rome, it takes 12 hours. It's a night train. Very, very nice.
Yeah,
so if you by any chance you visit Rome, now today, this year is the year of the Jubilee, then you can take a train and go and come to Palermo by train. No,
yeah,
it's a good idea.
Yeah, and the overnight you can even do. I did a first class cabin just to try it. That was really nice. It was a really nice bed. They had a bottle of prosecco in the room. It was very, very nice and relaxing. I find it relaxing, but you know.
In the ferry, I remember you can eat the best arancini in Sicily in the ferry.
Oh, really?
The ferry from Villa San Giovanni, Reggio Calabria, Messina, you can try the best arancini of Sicily.
Okay, I'm gonna try that. I know the cafeteria on board. I think we just got drinks there, but yeah, I gotta try that. So arancini or arancino?
Well, you know, there is a big competition between the east and the west of the island. In the west, in Palermo, we say arancina, female, because it's the same shape of orange, arancia. In Catania, I don't know why. In Catania, they always do different. I don't know why. They say arancino, male. To me, the more correct is arancina. Palermo.
There's a big competition just in general between Palermo and Catania. So both sides thinks that they're right and they don't understand why the other side uses a different word. If you really want to fight a Palermitano, you have to call it an arancino, and then they will fight you, won't they?
Yeah, they will probably kill you in a few minutes.
It's going to be a scene right out of The Godfather.
And another place very important here in Palermo is the beach, Mondello, which is not close in the city center. The beach, we don't have beach because we have the harbor, the port. But 10 kilometers far, like 7 miles, you can go to Mondello, which is really an extraordinary beach, sand beach, 5 kilometers of sand beach, very, very beautiful. So in Palermo, you can also go and see a fantastic beach. That
would be really cool. And the thing I'm thinking about doing is bringing my son down there for Santa Lucia. Tell us about the Santa Lucia festival. Or not Santa Lucia, Santa Rosalia. The Santa Rosalia.
Yeah. So you told me that you will come in June. So Santa Rosalia is the same day of Bastille Day, July the 14th. Here in Palermo, it's a mess, of course, as usual. There is usually a big carriage, enormous, going around the street of the city for a fantastic parade. So there is a fireworks show at midnight near the harbor. There are 100,000 people walking, eating everywhere: spleen sandwich, arancini, panellas, ice cream, cannoli. You know, the famous dessert here in Sicily, made with ricotta cheese, the sheep cheese. So it's a very beautiful festival. July the 14th. Rosalia, Santa Rosalia is the patron. She's the patron saint of the city. You know the story of Rosalia?
I do, but I think our viewers probably don't. Why don't you tell them?
Rosalia, tu vai là dentro? Lorenzo probably go to bed. Ciao.
Ciao, buonanotte Lorenzo. Ci vediamo.
Want to find an American girlfriend? Want to move to America? No? No, not yet.
Not yet.
Rosalia, she was born during the Normans, because in Sicily, you know, we also had the Normans domination, or Normans occupation, which was, you know, a population originally from Scandinavia. Your relatives, are you Viking? Maybe, probably.
Maybe,
Yeah.
probably.
So Scandinavia, Normandia, the north of France, and then they moved. They conquered the south of Italy, you know, Sicily, in the 1100s. It's an incredible history. And Rosalia, she was born in a very important, rich family in the Normans, 1100. That's why she was blonde, blue eyes. But one day, Rosalia, she decided to live alone, to live like hermit. So she left everything, the richness of her life, you know, the properties, the gold, and she moved above the mountain, and the Mount of Palermo, Monte Pellegrino, where she lived in a cave for about 4 years. This, and she died in the cave alone, without anyone, anything. In the cave when she was only 26 years old. But the memory of Rosalia remained in the mind of the people of Palermo. And one day, during the Black Plague in the 1624, during the Spanish domination here in Sicily, someone found her bones, her skeleton in the cave. Everybody thought they were the bones of Rosalia. They did a big religious procession, and only after 1 week after the Black Plague, you know, stopped here in Palermo. So it was like the miracle attributed to Rosalia. That's why since the Black Plague, 1624, she's the patron saint of the city, and we celebrate Rosalia every July the 14th. I told you, it's a very beautiful festival. Well, in corners there is always a beautiful show, light show and at midnight there is a fireworks show near the harbor. Very nice. Well, in the harbor, maybe you missed it. We opened a few months ago a beautiful promenade, right, few months ago near the harbor.
Really? Is that like where the Foro Italico has been? That area?
On the other side, we open a fantastic promenade with a very big fountain where every hour there is a water show. It's very, very beautiful.
What? That sounds so cool. I asked you if there was something new in Palermo. That's what I'm talking about. So is that over by the cruise port?
Sorry?
Is that towards the cruise port?
Yeah, near the cruise ship port. Yes.
Wow, that's really neat. Because I always thought I used to go running along there, the Foro Italico area, but then you'd get around the Cala, and then past that you couldn't really walk or run because it's
you can run more. You can run until the cruise ship port.
Really?
Really?
Wow, that's super cool. They also changed all the streets kind of around Politiama as well. They made them pedestrian. Is that right?
Pedestrian. Now the city center is all pedestrian.
Wow, that is amazing. Because the first time I went to Palermo, this was 15, 16 years ago, it was it was very much oriented to cars, and you really, you know, had to watch it. That's crazy.
Everywhere before.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was, you could just park a car in the middle of the piazza. I remember a guy sitting in the middle of the piazza who'd come over and he'd take €1 from you if you just left your car in the middle of the piazza.
I don't think where is mine?
I think it's amazing how much Palermo's changed in the last like 20 years. I mean, the time that when I went to the city the first time, it's not the same city, is it? I mean, I think it's so changed. It's amazing.
Yeah. Now we are open to the tourism. No,
yeah.
we have a cruise ship every day. We have a lot of Americans, tourists, no, North Americans, Canadians. Canada is still Canada or belong to America now?
I think that it still belongs to Canada. I think they actually want to adopt some of us, though. So you never know.
we have now 100,000 of tourists every year. So we are ready to welcome you know the people coming all over the world here.
Yeah, well, that I have to say is the thing that really struck me about Palermo the first time I went. And then again, this is whatever, 20 years ago. I just thought, what an incredible destination that nobody goes to. And I think part of it is people were worried about the mafia, but also I don't think Sicily really knew how to promote itself as a destination. I mean, Italians would go to Sicily, but no Americans would just go to Sicily, you know?
Oh, we are shy. We don't like to promote ourselves.
But I think that's true, though. I actually believe that. I think that was part of it. And all of this outside promotion now, movies taking place there and people are talking about Sicily, has made it more popular. But I always thought, what a strange place. It's so beautiful. It has the best art and architecture in Europe and some of the best beaches. It's just beautiful. The food is amazing. Why are not more people coming here? And that's why I started writing about it, because I could not believe that people didn't know about Sicily. So you've seen a huge change. And I always thought, wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it transform Sicily if there was more tourism? So do Sicilians look at the tourism boom as a good thing? Are they happy about it?
The tourism boom is because of you.
Not only.
Also good contribution. Well, now all over the world in the big touristic cities, there is the problem of the Airbnb apartments. Now all the apartments now they were converted into Airbnb destination. I mean, so it's hard to find for us the local people a place to live in the city center. And this is like in San Francisco, in London, in Rome, it's the same. Also in Palermo. So we love tourists, but understand also that the too many tourists could become a problem for the city. I mean, for the apartments to look for to rent an apartment, something like this.
Do you think the city is going to change the rules so you can't rent so many to tourists?
Sorry?
Oh, I know it's.
Go to bed. Ciao. Thank you.
Buonanotte.
No, vai dalla mamma. Go to la mamma, mother. Thank you. Bye. Ciao.
Domenico is a very, very dedicated dad. Now, what I was saying is in some cities like Florence, for example, they're changing the rules, so there cannot be any new Airbnbs. Is Palermo thinking about that?
Yes, also because here in Palermo, some people they rent apartment, also the garage, the ground floor. There was a garage 10 years ago. Now it's a B&B Airbnb apartment. So there are no rules in some area of the city. So we are also thinking about to introduce new restrictive rules for the legislation of the Airbnb apartment booking wherever.
Yeah, I think that's something all the cities need to figure out a solution to, because the people who own them, of course, don't want to give them up, but they, introducing new ones is probably not necessary at this point. So yeah, it is a little bit of a tough thing. My suggestion to people is always just stay in a hotel if you want to avoid the Airbnb problem, right? There's lots of great hotels in Palermo.
Yes, hotel, bed and breakfast, or Airbnb will pay taxes, where where they have the registration number. But if you are a family with children, in my opinion, it's also nice to rent an apartment where you can cook for lunch or for dinner. Because, if you go to restaurant for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you spend a lot of money.
Yeah, that's
so. If you want to save money and traveling, Airbnb apartments are also a good solution, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, my friend, I'm going to let you get to bed because I can see everybody's asking you to go tuck them in. So I'm going to tuck you in, and I'm going to say, buonanotte. What is the song you sing to your kids? Do you sing a song to your kids before bed?
No.
What? I thought there was a song.
I read a book.
Ah, okay. You read the books before bed.
Oh, now we are reading l'Odissea, Ulysses.
Wow, that's pretty serious for kids. They are going to be tour guides. Okay, that's good. All right, my friend. So I'm so glad you joined us today. Thank you so much for talking to us a little bit about Palermo. And for those of you watching, what?
Next time you come to Sicily, you have to learn some Sicilian words. You already know some Sicilian words, no?
I do know some Sicilian. I have to learn it better. So next time I come, we're going to definitely hang out, and we'll be sure to broadcast any kind of nonsense that we get into. But if you are going to Palermo, I highly recommend getting in contact with Domenico, because he does really great tours. You can sign up anytime, and it's like a half a day, and you get to see lots of fun sights. You get to eat food, and you get to hear lots of really terrible jokes, because Domenico is a font of terrible dad jokes. So you're going to laugh a lot.
In my opinion, Palermo is the perfect city for a walking tour, in my opinion.
It is, yeah. So if you want to find Domenico, you can find him at domenicoaronica.com, DOMENICOARONICO.com. And I'll put that into the video as well, so you can contact him directly if you're going to be there, or come on our Sicily tour, where he and I have a great time hanging out. And my friend Juicy is going to be
Sarah Murdoch tour in Sicily. It's the best tour. Yeah.
It's the best Sicily tour that there is the one that we do. So, and a Sicilian said it right here. So I can quote you, right? I can put that as a label on our tours.
Yes. You have the certificate now.
The certificate, the Domenico Aronica Certificate of Excellence. So, well, thanks so much, my friend. So, buonanotte. Go tuck your kids in, and I'm going to see you again real soon. Okay?
I hope to meet you in the summer.
I hope so too. Okay. Ciao, and thanks everybody for joining us today. Ciao, ciao.
Grazie.